Anita, how's your mental health?
Questionable at all times. You know this.
Yeah, how's the mental health of your children?
Also a little bit tricky. Can I tell you my experience in trying to find therapists for myself and my kids, Mel?
Yes, please.
Okay, this is how it goes. You ask around your friends and your family for a referral for somebody who's nearby. You finally find somebody who sounds like they might work for your family. You give them a call and you find out that A, they're not accepting new patients, or B, they have a huge wait list. So you start over again and you ask people if they know anybody who would be a good therapist and a good fit. Finally, you find one, you go and you meet with them, and you figure out that you don't actually like them that much. But it's been so much work to find somebody who you can go to in your area that you're kind of stuck with them. Well, do you have any ideas for how to get around this?
I do because guess what? I've actually had some therapists that I have found on my own, which involves what you're saying. Sometimes I remember one time I was like 3 hours in the bathtub on my phone looking
Yeah.
through websites. I was such a prune at the end. But I have also had the experience with working with BetterHelp. And it was like, I don't want to say too good to be true, but because it is true, but it's like amazing because I was matched with my therapist within 24 hours.
And you didn't have to go through all of that other ridiculous process of trying to find somebody. And here's the cool thing too, is if that person didn't work out for you, you can just switch and say, and it's not like you're committing to another years long search for somebody who you're going to jive with.
It's true. And I lucked out, or maybe just BetterHelp is really good at matching people together because I never had to change my therapist. I loved her. Perfect fit for me. And I know that some of our friends have used BetterHelp and they've had to change therapists, and boom, same day, you can change.
Easy peasy.
You can ghost your therapist. Get a new one.
I love this idea. BetterHelp is one of our sponsors. If you use our promo code trybetterhelp.com/WWDN, you get 10% off your first month. And we totally recommend it.
Yes, get some therapy. That's trybetterhelp.com/WWDN. Are you ready to see my shirt? I don't think you are.
I don't think I am either.
And a one, and a two, and a.
I can't. Oh, is it cat? Cats and cat butts?
Pumpkin and pockets.
No, I can't. I would never. I can't even tell what's going on there. I thought it was cat butts. Hey, Mel.
Hey, what's up?
What's up with you?
Just hanging out, man.
What's our topic of the evening?
Our topic of the evening, or noon or night, or the wee hours of the morning is tattoos.
Oh, okay. So secretly, you may or may not know this about me, but I love those shows on Netflix that are the like New York Ink, Miami Ink, LA Ink, Ink Masters, where people come in and they get their tattoos. And the reason I love those shows is I love to hear the stories about why they're getting their tattoos.
Namely, what are some of your favorites?
I don't even know, but that I used to watch all of those before I was a widow. And full disclosure, I am not tattooed. I'm a non-tattooed person. An NTP.
Hmm.
So,
I've been trying to persuade Anita to get a customized tattoo relevant to Jason.
yes.
Not happened yet.
No. I am one of the most indecisive people in the universe, and a tattoo is by definition very decisive. Hence why I have no headstone for my husband because I can't even decide that.
Yeah, if you're not going to get a headstone, it's going to take 10 times as long if you ever get a
I
tattoo.
feel like that's probably step before tattoo. But um I think that there are many people who get a tattoo for their loved one. And when I watched those shows, a lot of people did come in and they would get a memorial tattoo.
We all know the classic mom with the arrow through the heart. So it's pretty common to have a tattoo in memorial of somebody. I've seen some pretty creative ones. What about you?
Yeah, even in our Widow Wives Club, people will share the tattoos that they have just gotten about or in memorial of their late spouse or partner. And some of them are really cool. Some of my favorite ones that I have seen are they have found letters or notes and they take their handwriting and then they tattoo a special message that they have that was in their writing. I think those are really special.
Those are so fun and sad to see. I think it's
Yeah.
such a cool personalized idea. There's one I'm thinking of where they found a letter from their partner and it said I love you on it and then
Yeah.
they tattooed the words on their wrist or wherever.
I feel a little jealous of them that they have that. I wonder if I looked through more stuff if I could find something that had that in it, some
Maybe
writing like that.
you just need to go to Jason's first draft of his dinosaur book. Put a sentence.
Didn't say I love you. Um, do you I mean that's going to become less and less common because we don't write anymore. We just type.
I write.
So
What are you talking about?
as a society, we
Okay.
write less and less and we type. Like think about in the World War II times, people wrote letters. So you'd have all sorts of handwriting samples. But now you don't write letters to people very often.
Well, sometimes people send gifts with cards and they could write that on the card. So, yeah,
True.
you definitely are going to have less of a collection, I guess, to sort through. But some people do find those treasures, the
Mhm.
treasures.
The treasures.
Yeah. Another thing that I have seen that's so cool is a heartbeat.
Oh, yes. Is it of the person's like actual heartbeat? Okay, that sounded weird.
No, because they are not alive. But it can be a heartbeat, then it might have a heart in it's
Uh-huh.
like a simple line tattoo.
Yeah.
And the other thing, which I know that you and I have talked about this before, is maybe if you have a voicemail recording, you can
This
have
is
Jason say, I love you, and then you tattoo the sound wave.
Yeah, that's what I would do if I was going to do something. It would be a sound wave. I have a voicemail that Jason says, I love you, and it turns into the waveform. I would do that if I was going to tattoo something.
I can give you the waveform, by the way. I can send you a screenshot of it. You can get it done.
I
Here.
know, but remember, first things first.
Okay, fine, fine, fine.
My goodness.
So, one topic that comes up among widows, and I would not say that this is more for the older widows, maybe the younger widows, like that are living at home or have a parent around them a lot still, is they're really worried about what their mom or dad will think, mostly their mom. And so that prevents them from getting one because they might really want to get one, but they're scared to hurt the parents' feelings.
Yeah. Well, tattoos are becoming so much more mainstream now. It used to be only, biker gangs and
Prison
hellions
tattoos.
and prisoners. Yeah, but now I feel like they're becoming more acceptable in society at large, and you can get tattoos that are simple and don't interfere with being professional and all of that kind of thing.
My dad
So
and I were actually discussing this the other day because he's from the generation where it was
yeah,
like just prison tattoos. So
I'm
he's like, why would anyone do that? Like, oh, dad, there's so many reasons. Let me tell
yes,
you.
I'm curious. I need to ask my parents what they would think if I showed up with that tattoo, if they would be worried for my soul or if they would be okay with it. They'd probably be worried for my soul, think that I'd gone off the deep end. So I
So
can
then,
think of worse things than tattoos, guys.
yeah. Also, you're 41.
Hmm.
So there's
Do I
that.
get do I get to make my own decisions yet?
Yeah. Like, let's start with a headstone. That'll be good. I know.
Have you seen the tattoos that are portraits?
Hmm.
I feel like people should really research their tattoo artist before.
Yes, 100%. 100%. And there are options online where you can design a tattoo and have a temporary tattoo sent to you so you can wear it for a few weeks and see if you even like it. I highly recommend that because if you're worried that you're going to change your mind,
Yeah.
it's probably not a good time to make like a final decision at that point. So take your time. There's no rush.
They're
One to
going to
two
be
years,
different.
whatever. See what your preferences are and if your feelings change. Because when we are in deep grief, sometimes we want to do stuff that we've never done before, like
Yeah.
go do your hair crazy colors or get a tattoo. So
Which can be good and bad though, because a tattoo is a permanent thing. And so if you do that kind of on a whim, is that something like you can dye your hair back to the regular color or your hair will grow back? So do you think that it's something that should be thought through for a longer period of time before you pull the trigger?
absolutely. Yes.
Okay, I have another question though about it.
Go.
What about second relationships?
And a tattoo.
So like if you have a giant portrait of your husband on your
On your torso.
oh yeah, that's what I meant. On your torso. I was gonna say on your huge bicep. Does that become problematic in a second relationship potentially?
I can see that that could maybe cause some upset.
Yeah. So,
I don't know though. Does anyone have any stories like that? Because we want to hear them.
I mean, we on the tattoo shows that I watched, you hear stories all the time of people getting their boyfriend or their girlfriend tattooed or even their wife, and then they get divorced, and then it's like, what do I do with this? So I guess the good thing is that since they're dead, they're not going to break up with you,
Yeah.
so you don't have to worry about that. But it would be a little bit like, ooh, if you got into a new relationship and you've got another guy's
Face on.
face or something tattooed onto you. I don't know. That seems
I'm
like
just like visualizing so many things right now, and I can't. And I hope everyone is also laughing with me and seeing what I'm seeing.
when I was dating Jason, my dad was like, he held this interview with him. It was informal, but it kind of turned into this interview. And he was like, how do you feel about tattoos? And Jason was like, well, I've never seen any tattoo that I like enough to be on my body permanently. And my dad was like, good answer. And he goes, unless it was a giant eagle on my chest. It was so funny. And my dad was like, what?
Ooh,
My
I love
clearly
it.
joking dad.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Well, and there are also the options of symbolic tattoos.
Mhm.
So it doesn't have to be your person's face. Not that that's bad if you've done it. We
Yeah.
support you. But a lot of people have things that meant a lot to both of them together, and then they use that. So it's more of a subtle way and a private way. Now, what about placement?
I was just going to say, if I were to do it, it would be hidden because it would not be for the world. It would be for me. But I do think that some people like the idea of it being a conversation piece or something that people ask about, or that they, literally, I don't use that word lightly, have their heart on their sleeve. You can see a piece of them and it's visualized. A lot of people would say, what's the point of getting a tattoo if you can't see the tattoo? Like that's silly. So that's something that different people have different feelings about too.
Hmm. Tattoos are for you if you decide to get one. The other thing is now that it is way more popular to have tattoos, there's sleeves, and it's more in mainstream culture now, and it's
Yeah.
part of a certain aesthetic.
Yeah.
And so there are lots of options. Like some people want a simple one on their wrist, some people want it on their rib cage because they don't want the world to see it, but they want
Yeah.
it for themselves. There's half sleeves, there are full sleeves.
You can get it right under your eye.
Yeah, you could get it on your scalp. You could shave your head and do that. Yeah.
I've seen on those shows people getting their heads tattooed, and I just think that that has got to give you a headache. Like, think of your brain getting jiggled around like that. That's
Okay.
crazy.
Also, though,
Yeah.
usually people have experienced worse emotional pain in their life than a tattoo, so they can deal with it.
Even a tattoo on their head.
Okay. What do you think is more painful, Jason dying or a tattoo on your head?
W- Well, long term, Jason, but in the short term, I would not enjoy getting a tattoo on my head. I know what you're trying to say, Mel. I know what you're trying to
You
say.
can make it through anything.
Yeah,
Because you
but I think
are,
I would be like, let's choose a different, let's do it on my butt. That soft, squishy
ouch.
butt.
Okay, so that's where you're going to put your tattoo if you get it. But first,
Maybe.
you're going to
We'll
get
never know.
temporary tattoos.
Mm-hmm. And try one here, and then try one on my skull, and then try one there. What do you think about the fact that tattoos fade and your skin quality changes, and at some point in time, they don't look as good as they used to?
Well, you can always get touch ups.
Okay.
So there's that. I know some friends that have color tattoos, and you can also get touch up for the colors. Sometimes some of the watercolor tattoos, they're done differently from what I understand, and so they're less vibrant over time
Yeah.
just because they don't have the solid outline of like a big thick black, you know,
Yeah.
line. So you can always get them retouched up.
But you
That's
can't get your skin younger.
you can't, but if you're gonna go out, might as well go out in style,
Style.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I know growing up where that was one of the main points about tattoos. Like, well, what if you don't like it and you have it on your body your whole life? And then what's it gonna look like when you're all old and wrinkly?
Mm-hmm.
I think by the time you're old and wrinkly, you're
You
just
don't
like,
care. It's
no.
just part of you. Here's another thing to consider is that when we were younger, getting a tattoo removed was like a big deal. And now I feel like it's not as hard to do.
Like it's not as hard to find a place to do it and pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
still gonna be very painful.
Yeah. And expensive, but I feel like it used to be like this huge undertaking where you were going to, spend millions of dollars and millions of hours. And there's more access to that, I feel like now.
It's more
So,
accessible for sure.
yeah.
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 So you have options. So it's funny, going back to the topic of somebody wanting a tattoo and then their parent being upset with them. That's just a personal thing that you have to decide for yourself. Some widows that we know are like, it's your body, it's your life, do whatever you want. And some also come from a similar maybe background with their parent where they are kind of cautious as well. And it's just something that maybe you need to mull over and figure out for yourself and decide what's best for you.
I'm kind of a connoisseur of the different styles, like you were talking about before, like the classic American and the black and gray and the white tattoos. There's a lot of different choices.
Fine line is becoming even more popular. And actually, did you know this? Because a lot of estheticians also do microblading, like the tattooed eyebrows.
Yeah.
They are now, some of them are starting to do fine line tattoos.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can't think of anything more stressful than being a tattoo artist.
Because if you mess up, you're dead. Ruin someone's life.
Yes, we're just talking about how it's there forever, and you're like,
Can we
oopsie.
talk about tattoo mishaps?
Yes.
Oh, guys. Everybody just go Google it.
They're
I'm
funny for the
sure
rest of the world, not funny for the person. But even on those competition shows, once they tattooed a pinup girl and she had 6 toes. Like,
and she didn't actually have that condition.
no,
Okay. Okay.
the guy just gave her 6 toes on accident. So, oopsie. Don't get that
Yeah.
unless you want that, and then get that.
If you're going to put something on your body and you don't want to regret it, do your research, take some time, feel good
And
about it.
they cost a lot of money, so don't try and get a cheap tattoo.
Yeah.
Want a good
Pay
tattoo.
for a good tattoo artist that you know is going to do things right. Research your artists. They're all on Instagram. There's so many.
Yeah.
And a
Yeah.
lot of their portfolios are online.
So we want to see everybody's memorial and in remembrance tattoos. So post all of the pictures so we
What if
can
it's
see
on
them.
their butt? You want to see their butt?
I don't care. I see people's butts and it
Okay.
doesn't bother me.
Use your discretion. Also, if you are considering a tattoo, Pinterest has a lot of options. You can save them to a Pinterest board and save them to your phone and maybe mull over them over time and see if your feelings change or if they don't change.
And do it.
Or if you're struggling wanting one and you're scared of your mom, maybe talk to your therapist about that or your life coach and work it out. Or post below and tell us what you're feeling incognito so your mom doesn't see.
Yes. I'm Anita.
I'm Mel.
Two widows who are trying to figure out widow
We
do.
now.
Ba-da-ba-da.
Tattoo! This is my favorite thing to discuss with you.
Tell me, what is it?
One of my favorite things. I do enjoy tacos and cheese and dogs. This is about how you cannot pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for a phone plan, especially when you're a widow, your person is dead, you might have kids, you might need another option, and you just want your phone to work, you want unlimited texting and service, and you want it to be like $25 a month.
It blows my mind that they have plans that start at $15 a month. That is so cheap. And the cool thing is it uses other 5G networks, and so you don't have to pay extra for that, and you still get great service.
Yep, Anita and I have traveled all over, and I have used my phone. So I highly recommend it. And my mom's even on it. When my dad died, we put his phone down to the cheapest plan, which is $15 a month. And I think my mom's on the $20 a month plan, and it's so worth it. It's so much cheaper than what we were all paying before. So I highly recommend it if you're on a budget or not. Who cares? Ryan Reynolds is in charge of the company, and they send you free stickers with Ryan Reynolds temporary tattoos. It's kind of the best. So if somebody wants to sign up, what can they do, Anita?
Go to trymintmobile.com/WWDN. Seriously, you guys, such a great idea. Save yourself some money.
And if you're worried about losing data or having any changes with your phone, not going to happen. They walk you through it. Everything's fine. It's the easiest process of all time. Again, that's
trymintmobile.com/WWDN.